But that doesn't that doesn't stop me from going to the pub if I feel like, or to go and play a game of pool or do whatever. Being part of the mainstream culture doesn't mean the jettisoning of your culture. I think what we have with all these Somalian types is that they've managed to convince themselves somewhat that they have some sort of a superior culture, which nobody really knows where that sense comes from, because it's not really a culture celebrated by anybody outside of them. And then they don't assimilate. Their culture will never really be part of the mainstream, and then they just float. And that is why you have them in all these ghettoized spaces, chewing guards and stabbing each other.
What are you talking about? Like, I don't understand. What do you mean by superior culture? Like, what do you mean? Are you talking about Somalis that don't assimilate with other groups or integrate with other groups?
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I mean. Somalians are holding on to some fantasized culture, which they feel is some sort of elevated culture, and they are refusing to be part of the mainstream. And then they form some sort of parallel society within whichever society they find themselves in, which
So,
is
man,
often
well, man, you're
instances
going a bit off. Like, would you
ghettoized.
say the same? Would you say the same with the Indians and the Pakistanis because they live in their own communities?
Yeah, but they're part of the mainstream.
Okay,
That's exactly what I mean.
listen, the
Your average shopkeeper is an Indian person, so that's the mainstream space right there. So they have daily interaction with the mainstream while still holding on to their culture.
That's not the case. That is not the case. They basically associate with their own kind, they speak their language, and they're in their own communities. I don't live too far from a ghetto, which is Indian, and they're with their own people. So I don't know what you're talking about when you're referring to my own people. Like with Somali people in the United Kingdom, they tend to what's it called, stick with their community.
No, it's time for them, because I think we've had three cycles of Somali now. So I think we're into three generations deep now of Somalis. So it's now time for them to be more mainstream. Don't go and hide away chewing gut and just constituting a nuisance to society.
So where you getting these ideas of constituting a nuisance society? You're making it out like your community is perfect,
Yeah,
my
but
brother.
that's the broad strokes understanding of how what the Somalis are like. Just a true gut all day and stab each other. They
That's totally wrong. I don't shoot at. I don't stab people. You're basically stereotyping. I can say the same thing about your people. Like, why do Nigerians commit so much fraud, and why are they involved in criminality? But that's not true for the majority of them.
I'm not sure, man. You should bring your people into the mainstream. You can't go hide away in some obscure whatever it is that and also when you hide in your little pockets, then people have the suspicion that you have some sort of a hidden agenda, and that
I
doesn't
don't
even go.
even. What do you mean by hidden agenda? Like, I don't understand what
When you
you.
don't mainstream and you are forming a parallel society within an already existing society, and you are forming some closed off, whatever it is that you're doing, you need to mainstream. So there it is right there. So one man has seen off all the Somalians. Anybody else want to come on? Where is Nakmizi? He's always good for a beating.
So
Where's
yeah,
Nakmizi?
what was I saying? So parallel society. Give me an example of Somalis creating a parallel society.
Oh, okay, if you go to places like wherever it is that they congregate, there's always some isolated space that is essentially Somali. If you go to a place like Woolwich, for instance, right behind the main council building, there's a long stretch of a street called Somali Street. All they ever do there, go there today, they are chewing gut and stabbing each other. So there's just
So one man, because of you see, because I'm assuming you live in South London, you live in Greenwich, right?
no, no, you're assuming wrong. I live in Kent.
So you live in Kent, that not too far from South London. I'm assuming you probably live in near to some area in South London, but so you're just assuming a group. I can say the same thing about Nigerians in South London. Like there's a lot of gangs and that are Nigerians that are in South London. You do know that, right?
The Nigerians don't have a reputation for forming gangs.
Are you
They have,
sure? Are you sure, my brother? Are you sure about that? Because
I'm certain about
have
that. They
you?
have a reputation
No, no,
for
no, 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 no,
education,
no, 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 no,
for
no, no,
doctors
no. Have
and
you heard of?
lawyers and
Have you
engineers.
bullshit? Have you ever heard of the Peckham Boys?
I don't know what you're talking about. I have heard of the Nigerian lady that contested rather to be prime
Have you ever
minister.
been to Have you ever been to Thamesmead
Have you
before?
heard of the Nigerian lady that contested to be prime minister of this country?
Are you talking about Kimmy?
Yes, Kemi.
What about her?
So that's the space that our Nigerians occupy, not gangland or whatever it is. Nigerians don't. I don't. I'm not quite sure where that's even coming from.
I don't
Nigerians
know.
have
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
education for being doctors and lawyers and all of that.
But majority
And
of
Somalians have a reputation for chewing gut.
well, a load of bullshit. The majority of your people are not doing so well. Yeah, sure, in terms of education, but in terms of income and that, they're not doing so well in the UK, my brother. And a lot of them are in gangs and that and
Who
doing
who
fraud.
who owns Gatwick Airport?
Garrick Airport.
Yeah, who owns it?
Please don't bring that guy. He doesn't own the airport. I know who you're
It does
referring
own the
to.
airport.
He does not own the airport.
It does own the airport.
He doesn't.
You see, this is the thing. Nigerians are known as achievers. They own Gatwick Airport. They are contesting to be prime minister, but the Somalians are chewing gut.
Keep thinking like that. Have you ever heard of the guy who owns World Remit? Have you heard of
All right. Who else is there? DG, are you there? Why are you hiding away? Kaizo is probably already passed out to drink. DG.
I'm not hiring, but I don't talk to low IQs, full old Nigerians who has nothing but hate in their hearts, brother.
All right. Don't slam the Dr. R like that now. What's he done to you?
Now I'm talking to you. Dr. R is fine.
All right.
You know, you say the Somalis to chat. You want the Somalis to drink alcohol or do drugs?
Yeah, they do that as
What
well,
you
don't
do?
they? They do that as
No,
well.
they don't. Very few do. So stop the hating, man. Just let us
one
talk about
man,
something
one
else.
man, one man, my brother, I can tell you got some sort of hate in your heart, but I don't want to show my hate.
What do you mean hate? What sort of language is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, you are the guy who advocating the Ethiopians and the Kenyans should invade Somalia at once. Aren't you that? Didn't you just say that? Why don't you just invade the entire land and keep the Somalis out of their land? And you're talking about they don't have hate.
Yeah, no,
You
no.
are actually
No,
you
the
are actually
Somalians have not.
advocating genocide. You
No,
are
no, no,
actually
no, no.
advocating the internet
No,
genocide, man.
I'm advocating rescue.
That's
The
bullshit.
Somalians, no, I'm
Well,
advocating rescue.
what did DG?
The
What did he say
Somalians have
earlier
not
on? What did
demonstrated.
he say?
Hold on. The Somalians have
One
never
one
demonstrated the
no no no.
capacity to self-govern. So if the
You don't
Ethiopians
know.
can
You don't
take,
know anything about Somalia. You just talk about
no,
bullshit.
they've never
Look,
demonstrated the capacity to govern themselves.
you
When have
did
they
not
ever?
talk
What are you
about
talking
government.
about? Sharp, what are you talking about,
You
bro?
talking about people. You talking about genociding people, individuals, innocent people in their country, in their land. You have never talked about the Somali government or anything. You're telling the Kenyans and the Ethiopians just go and invade them and kick those foreigners out of their country. Look, I mean, what is that? Right? You and then you talk about ban Africanism and how Africa could come unite and blah 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 blah. Look at this hypocrisy. So that's why I
All
don't
right.
respond to you because you are so crazy,
All right.
so crazy.
Settle down. Settle down. I was only trolling you, by the way. I don't really have any strong views about Somalians. They are not in my space. I have no knowledge of them. I
It's
was on
Somali,
just,
not Somalian.
I was, huh?
It's Somali, not Som.
Well, that tells you how much I know. So it's not a space that I pay attention to. I was just trolling you. That's all. But settle down. I didn't know you were so easily triggered, DG. What is this? Have I ignited some nationalistic fervor within you? What's going on? But no, the Somalis have never really demonstrated the capacity to self-govern. I don't think we've ever really seen that. You know,
Yes, you don't know nothing. Do you know the
and
history of Somalia?
it's
You're very
really an
ignorant.
act of rescue
Pipe down,
for
pipe,
the
pipe down,
Ethiopians
pipe
to go
down,
and
pipe down, pipe down, yeah, and keep quiet, yeah. And I think you had too much of Igusi soup, yeah. Let a Somali tell you his history, because I feel like you don't know nothing. Do you know the history? Somalia was the first country in Africa to adopt rural democracy, and we were governing ourselves back in what, the 50s, back in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. But while your country, Nigeria, gained their independence at the same time as us, within what? I think within 8 or 9 years, your country went into civil war, full blown civil war. Do you know your history?
well, I know my history, and more to it, I know yours. There was never a time that Nigeria had never been able. In fact, the concept of democracy is really an Oyo concept. If you want to go down
I
that,
said, I was gonna say before I said, when I said was we adopted, we're the first country in Africa to to accept democracy, democratically elect.
yeah. But what I am saying is that the concept of democracy was actually invented by the Oyo people.
Well, bring your burden of proof.
Well, it's already there. The pyramid of governance within your space, you have a king that sits at the top, you have the council of chiefs that are from the Oyomeses, and then you have a satellite subgroups of Baales that are oversight settlements with the same governmental structures, and then there's a taxation system, there's a rule of conduct, and all of that, the backdrop of democracy, all that, of course, invented by the Oyo people.
Are you sure about that? Because democracy originated in Greece, in ancient
Yeah,
Greece.
that's what they tell you. Forget all that. Nothing came out of it. It came out
No,
from
but you just made, my brother, you made a claim about your people. Could you show me some evidence, proof? Could you drop it in the private link that your people invented
no,
democracy?
no. I've just told you the trajectory of it all. I mean, what more do you need? Yeah, I've given you the narrative. You have Google on your whatever it is. Just Google it. The Somalians, on the other hand, I'm not quite sure. Do they have governance now still there? Because I know it's satellite pockets of warlords. That the last time I checked, just satellite hubs of warlords.
Yeah, we do. We do have our own. We have a government, and we're doing good.
A government that functions.
Yes, we have a government. Every country has got a government.
But no, so are you telling me that the regions are not oversighted by warlords?
That's incorrect, my brother. I think I don't know how old you are, but you're stuck. I believe that you're stuck in the 90s.
All right. Well, the last time I checked, the whole region was like a series of pockets of warlords. It's like a
Yeah,
AK
you
forty
could say the
seven
same. You could say the
AK
same
forty
thing about
seven.
Nigeria too. Look at your North Nigeria. I don't think Tinubu controls North Nigeria, man.
So let me
You have
ask you one, man. Why
also
is there
warlords over there.
like in your country in Nigeria right? Yeah, you've got a lot of rebel groups. Like, have you ever heard of Amotep by any chance?
No,
Basically, it's a Yoruba, basically paramilitary group similar to.
Amotekun. You know, not Amotek. Amotekun. All right, carry on.
Yeah, basically, it's a similar. It's an ethnic group. It's an ethnic nationalistic group. Basically, what do you call it? They're taking charge of their security in their region because they don't trust the government. So
No,
what
they're
does that
not.
tell you? So what does that tell you?
No, well, that tells me that you don't know the space.
What do you mean the space, bro? Bro, you've got like all these rebel groups that are taking security into their own matters. My brother,
No,
your
you
country's
don't
fucked.
you don't have that in Nigeria. The Amotekun is a construct of the government. is an arm of the wider security structures of Nigeria. It's not a rebel group.
No, I'm talking about the Yoruba Congress group. It's part of that group that want to take charge
I,
of the
I, I
security
am
again.
Yoruba, and I'm telling you. Who is to tell me? Who is to tell who? You to tell me, or me to tell you about
But
what
I'm
goes on
asking
in
you a
Yoruba?
question. In your country, why is there people taking matters into their own hands?
And I'm telling you that is not the case.
Because when Buhari was in power, they didn't trust him because he's a Fulani, because the Fulanis are going
No, that,
mad.
that is not the case. Why you just spreading propaganda? And where you even getting that from? The Amotekun structure, which is what you're referring to, is a construct of a government art and is part of the wider security architecture of the country, all under governmental control. So it's not a rebel group, it's not a satellite
I'm
group,
saying,
it's
do
not
they
a
trust the
regional group.
government with the security? Because there's a lot of insecurity in many parts of
Yes,
Nigeria.
there are
You got there
insecurities.
are tribes, there are tribes
Is there
that
no
don't trust the
insecurity
Muslims.
in America? Where is there not insecurity?
I'm asking you, what do you think of Buhari?
Yeah, what's he done?
Like, because a lot of Igbos, for example, hate that guy basically, Buhari.
Yeah, that's for reasons of ethnicity. Yes.
And then you have like what's it called? Some tribes that don't trust him because he's bringing in Fulani from this region and outside the country, and they're committing genocide against these groups. They feel like we
What do you
cannot
mean?
trust.
Do you know what genocide? Do you even speak English? Do you know what genocide
Of course,
means?
I know what fucking genocide is. You
And
fool!
then why would you use it so casually? Oh, well, just genocide. Just guy, keep
Not
the
okay.
language.
Let's replace the G word with massacre then.
What do you mean massacre? You don't know anything.
No, but there are
Oh my God,
I
you
think you are
cannot.
trying to I think you are trying to
Now,
superimpose
now,
Somali linguistics
so
into
now you
wider
see
space.
how are you being easily tricked? Yeah, one man. Now you see how can how can you be easily tricked also? Oh my God, one
So,
man.
one man, I'm gonna give you one more chance, right? Yeah, the insecurity. You do acknowledge that there are groups that are operating in these regions, and they don't trust the government.
Well, there are groups that don't trust the government, but there are groups that don't trust the government in the United States, in Germany. In fact, you don't even have a government in Somalia, never mind to trust. So it's not anything unique or peculiar. It's not strangely Nigerian. It's not a curiosity.
But yes, people don't trust the government. That's true. I don't trust the UK government. But do you see people in the United Kingdom forming groups, armed groups?
Yes, yes. What about that guy? What's he called again? I can't quite remember his name. All these white supremacist groups all over the UK.
You mean
They
EDL?
yes, you do have groups, but they don't have arms.
EPL. Yeah, what's that guy that leads him? Something, the one that is always getting beaten up.
But they are not an armed group. The
What do you
EDL
mean
is a
they are not
group.
an armed
Yeah,
group? Of course they're an armed group.
they are not armed. They would have been shut down a long time ago. Are they a threat to the UK government? They're just a bunch of drunkards.
All right, but no.
Do you see the EDL as a threat to the UK? I don't. They're just a bunch of people that go football on a Sunday and a few pub racists. I don't think.
Combat 18. That's another one.
Yes, I've heard of Combat 18, but they are long gone.
What do you mean they are long gone? Where did they go? You
They
don't
didn't.
even know anything, do you?
Of course, I know everything, you dumb fuck. I know about Combat 18. They were a neo-Nazi group in what, the 90s and the 80s, but they've been shut down, arrested. A lot of them.
Uh, all right, if you say so. Go and explain that to them in Birmingham, where they're still beating up Asians and black people.
My brother, are you living in the 90s? Can I ask you a question? Are you living in the 90s? I
No,
feel
no,
like
I'm
you're living
living in the here and now. You're certainly anyway. Let's just leave that. You
Let
you
me
have
ask you right, yeah. Are you living in? I feel like you still think you're living in those times. Things have changed.
all right. Things have changed indeed.
Like beating up people, like I feel like we're in the 90s or the 80s.
Look,
Like
look,
people
this,
don't do
this
that.
look,
I just don't see that.
it's not a matter of back and forth between you and I. People can just Google it, and they'll see that it's still going on in real time. So I'm not quite sure what you are talking about,
When was the
but
last
what
time you see
I am
someone getting
insisting on
beaten
is
up in
that
the
there
street?
is no such thing as
When was the last
government in
time? Yeah.
Somaliland.
When was the last time you
There's
seen someone getting beaten up in the street, like openly, like group of racists, like?
it happens in the Midlands every single day, always in the news. What are
But
you talking about?
one thing I do know about the Midlands is it's racially
Brentford,
segregated.
Bradford, Birmingham, all of the Fords, whatever it is, Yorkshire even, they're always like perpetually clashing with the Asians and the blacks. All these far right groups, heavily
No,
armed.
you're wrong.
Oh God,
It's mainly ethnic minority vis ethnic minority. Do you know about that?
what was that?
Basically, in the Midlands, and I don't know why you're talking about the
Yes,
Midlands, even though you're not from that region. I'm not from that region, but I've got knowledge on that region. In
yes,
Birmingham,
but that's where it goes on. That's the epicenter of the activities of far right groups, which is still
I'm not.
going on
I'm not.
as we
I'm not
speak.
talking about far right groups. I'm talking about ethnic on ethnic clashes. Blacks vs Asians. Do you know about the
Well,
Birmingham
that
riots
goes
in
on in the Midlands
2005?
too. Yes,
Do you
that
know
goes
about
on in the Midlands too.
no? But do you know about the Birmingham riots of 2005 between the Caribbeans vs the Asians? Do you know about that?
Yes, yes.
There's more racism with ethnic minorities. Let me ask you, right? Yeah, in your life, in your lifetime, where did you encounter racism the most? From ethnic
I have
minorities
never
or from
encountered
Europeans?
racism ever.
Are you sure about that?
Well, unless you know more than I do, I've just told you I've never encountered racism ever.
Okay, okay, then that's you then. But ethnic minorities are going to be more racist than white people in this country.
Hey, one man, let Mr. Nakmisi speak, please. Your black
Let him
American
deal with this na'as.
Philippines.
Yeah, there goes the neighborhood.
Yeah, let Nakmisi say something. Go ahead, my brother Nakmisi.
Just wanted to let y'all Africans know that I have Africa in my house.
Yeah.
Yo, so what are you guys talking about?
Yo,
The Europa
what's up,
supremacy.
Nagmisi?
We are talking about the Europa supremacy.
Oh, Yoruba supremacy.
No,
That
no,
doesn't
no,
make
no. We were giving the Somalians a beat down. That's what we're talking about. We're giving the Somalians a beat down.
Basically,
well, you know, I always side with
Nagmisi, this man,
Somalia against West Africans. So
Yeah.
Nagmisi,
Your
this man
brother
tries
is
to say that the
he's
Yorubas
jealous.
invented
He's jealous.
democracy.
oh man, my internet is bad. I'm in the Caribbean. I just jumped on a flight to come home real quick. But
No, no, your
what you
internet is okay. I think it's interference from DG's system. When you're on mute, it quakes. All right, carry on, Nakmezi.
yes. What are y'all talking about?
No, no,
Basically,
I was just giving the Somalians a bit of a beat down, just to troll them a little bit. And I never knew they were so grateful. I only prodded at them a little bit, and it was like tears before bed started and all
Oh, I got you. Well, it's always the people that don't even have toilets that want to troll other people. So I understand, one man.
that. Are you still fixated on that? Is that the extent of your potency? Is that all it is? Is that your go-to? Eh?
That's my default. Yeah, especially from Oyo. I just say you guys are the giant of Africa that's pooping in the street. So, well, what kind of giant is that?
I was just explaining to your guys how the Oyo people invented democracy. That Dr. R said he'd been led to believe that it came out of Greece. So I was just trying to expand their educational knowledge.
you cannot educate me, one man. You cannot educate me. I should be educating you.
Hey, did Kaiser ever do that show? Because I was on a plane when it was scheduled. The one about the Benoit being a white supremacist.
No, no, he hasn't done it yet. I think he deferred it to a later date.
Yeah, because he's scared of what the white man's gonna say to him. That's why.
All right. Zulia, did you want to come in? Zulia, look at that. Uh, I think everybody is intimidated by my presence. Don't be
No,
scared.
I'm not intimidated.
Uh, uh, Zulia. All right. So tell me three good things about Somali. In terms of the culture, the people. What do you delight in the most about being a Somalian, Doctor R?
I'm proud to be a Somali man, like any other group that's proud to be of their ethnic origins. I'm proud of my culture, my history, my language, my heritage. Just like how you would be proud you are a Yoruba
Which
man.
part of your culture do you celebrate the most? For me, for instance, I celebrate the Yoruba language because for me, it's the richest language known to mankind. It's poetic to listen to. It is very civilized in its texture. And very nuanced as well, because the Yorubas don't speak frontally because we consider that to be rude. So we speak in inferred meaning, and then inviting you then to go and find the understanding of what we've just said to you, however you're able to digest it. So I celebrate that. I celebrate the culture, I celebrate the architecture of how communities are formed. And the relationship between male and female, I celebrate that because it's very unique, very respectful, and all that. And then the art that comes out of that space, the music, the dance, the drama, the intellect, the capacity to think without boundaries. So we are capacitated to have boundless thoughts, and that is because we already have a morality backdrop. Because it is often instances morality or not wanting to go to dark places that pulls people back from from having boundless. So there's a lot that I celebrate in being Yoruba, but what do you celebrate in being Somali?
I told you I celebrate the glories of the past, the history, the language, the food, everything. Like I celebrate the history of Somalia, as our history it goes back thousands of years, and
They have food in Somali. Is it not just ugali and gat? What do you mean food? There's no culinary. Is it not just say yam and vegetables? What do you mean food? You don't.
food.
There's no reputation for culinary sort of. What's your jollof rice equivalent in Somali?
Yeah, we've got our own indigenous rice. If you look into it,
All
Are
right.
you taking the piss? Are you taking the piss?
No, I'm just trying to get the conversation out of him, but I think he's just too intimidated by my presence.
why would I be intimidated? Because from what you're saying to me is you're just taking the piss.
Yes, I am a little bit actually. Yes, I am.
But
But
do you want me to take the piss out of your people? But I'm not gonna go there, my brother. Not
no, you
today.
you 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 can if you
Take
if
it.
you could,
Take
but
the
it's
piss.
very difficult for you to because everybody knows what a Nigerian is. So very difficult for you to take the piss. But
Of course, I can take the piss. Do you want me to take the piss out of your people when it? But I'm not gonna do that.
all right. So DG, why are you hiding away? Tell us a little bit about. There's a certain sort of music and dance. There's a dance that comes out of Somaliland that almost looks Indian-like in its movement. Do you know that dance? And what's it called? And then there's I'm not quite sure. It's not a flute. That is like a banjo type of music that goes with that, and then the women sort of pirouette in some sort of nativist movement. What's that all about? Do you know what I'm saying? What's it called, and what's the backdrop to it?
I think you are talking about the Somali Karami, which is like how can I say it is classical music. That is uh, the origin of the Somali music when they are playing this kind of guitar and drums. You said Somaliland, but I think when you talk about the north of Somalia, yes, there are different musics that we celebrate and dance to it and sing to it. We have hello, dento, all kinds of the Somalis do it. So when you say this is better or this is bad or this is the best, it's all the individual opinion. I don't say anything about the Yoruba's music because I don't listen to it
No, no,
and
no.
I don't understand it.
I'm saying that I find it quite beautiful to see. Is it part of the courting ritual? Is that how people pick a bride, sort of during that dancing process?
No.
No, no, it is just kind of entertainment, and the lyrics are also is very very important because they are talking about experience of life or let's say all kinds of life. You know, war, peace, rain, animals, love again and love again. So only the Somali people will understand the meanings of these lyrics. So maybe you will enjoy the music, but you never understand exactly what the poem is and when this person is talking about. It's only someone who is so good at Somali will definitely understand. And that is the Somali Krami or Somali Rahe or the Asian Somalis, not this kind of the pop Somali music which just came like the west from the western or from the Middle East and it's like the pop music now people all the rap, but the original Somali music is very unique, yeah, very very unique. And we have the only closest society who have that such kind of music in Africa is Sudan. The Kenyans even don't have that kind of music.
Is there a close association between the Sudanese and the Somali? Culturally, who do you culturally align with the most in terms of similarity between your cultures and your culture and theirs within that African space?
The neighboring
I don't
countries, of
think
course.
the neighboring countries, of course, because the neighboring countries have also quite a number of the Somalis. There are the third majority citizens in Ethiopia are the Somalis, you know. Also, Kenya, we have also Somalis and land over there, Djibouti. But if you go out of the Horn countries, definitely, I don't know if Mr. Aru agree with me, but Sudanese and the Sudan is the closest culturally and in also color. You know, we just look like each other. If I go outside, I'm not so different from the
There's some similarities,
Sudan
you could
guys.
say, DG.
Similarities, yeah, because they are also they have the genetic. Most of them also have the Kush genetic. So the music also is quite similar, even though they speak Arabic, but the rhythm is it's quite. I can relate to it, and the religion also that also helps. So yeah, Sudan will be outside of the neighboring countries, the most related.
Then you have like countries like Chad.
Chad also, yes, we go to Chad. Yeah, Chadis. Actually, I
Mm.
was in Chad, and there are a lot of clans from Somalia who've been there like thousands of years. Uh, they are Chadis, even though they forget their language, but you cannot differentiate them. And also, the Sahelian, the Sahel, you know, the
They don't
Tawari,
speak DG.
they
They
don't
don't
What,
speak
speak.
what's the
Swahili.
what's the
They don't speak the Somali language now.
No, no, they don't speak Swahili. I said. You said Swahili.
No, no, they don't speak Swahili. They speak their, you
what,
know,
what what's the cutting process in Somalia, DG? Is it a case of boy meets girl, brings girl home, or is it a case that the boy gets to a marriageable age and then the mother goes to another family to go and ask for their daughter? So what's the cutting process
you
in
you
Somalia?
you 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 talk about the how two young people meet and have a marriage, something like this.
Yes. So is it a case of
Oh yeah.
young people
No, no.
meet and then they come home, or
It,
you go?
no, no.
Yeah.
It evolves, my friend. Let us say before the Somalia's collapse, I think we have some kind of stability for
And DG is talking about the dating culture,
the dating culture is
dating,
when you are
courting,
in
like
the when you are talking when you are in the major cities. The girls are free to, talk to anyone, but when Somalis, 75% are in rural areas and they have their own things, It's not like you go and ask like the Arab countries, ask your mother to look for you a girl. No, we look for our woman. We go there. It's called something like Hasawe. Hasawe means to talk to the girl. We have something called love shukansi when you have and choose someone you talk to her in a different way. Then you go and ask for her father. You bring your family with your father, your aunt.
What is that
You ask the
sound?
woman, says, sorry,
Do you have like a fire extinguisher?
no, I did not get it. Please come again, sir.
There's a background noise coming from you. Is what you're saying. Yeah. There's a beeping sound, like maybe almost like a fire, like a
No, no, it's
smoke
my
alarm.
printer. It's my printer. Yeah,
Uh, uh,
I shut it down.
oh, all right.
so. Tell me the
So,
dating culture. Let me.
finally, then the family will talk and. Then they will ask the girl if she's okay with it. When she says okay, then come the nikah, which is the halal way to be a husband and a wife. That is in family.
What is the what percentage what percentage of Somaliland is or Somalia, what percentage of Somalia is religious, and do you have like a nativist sort of religion there? For instance, in my culture, we have things like Shango, we have things like Obatala, which are our own traditional worship sort of space. So do you have
Are you talking about deities?
like deities, so indigenous gods, traditional, that has maybe predates whatever I'm assuming it's a predominantly Muslim country. So that predates whatever whenever you came into contact with Islam or Christianity. So do you have that? Is it still practiced? And what percentage of the population still practices it?
It's no longer practiced.
Is that a good thing?
Well, it's like me asking a Greek person if you practice your old religion. Majority don't. Majority today are Orthodox Christians. That's long gone in the past.
Yeah,
Just
but
like
is that
just like with your people who are like what majority Muslim and Christian. Maybe a small percentage do, but majority are overwhelmingly Christian or Muslim.
yeah, but we still practice database worship systems though. And very much so. We still celebrate them. We hold festivals, all of that still to those traditional practices.
Yes, we do know that we know the names of the deities of the past, but we don't really celebrate it. Nothing because it's long gone.
Yeah,
So,
and
Yeah, it's
it's
do
not.
you, I'm asking you, do you have a problem with that?
No, no, no.
no, no,
No. I have a disappointment with it. Not a problem, but a
no, don't have,
disappointment.
don't.
How's it? No, no, but
Why do you have a
So not
disappointment? Why do you,
Amos. Like, let me ask him. So, why do you have a disappointment if this ethnic group no longer practices this religion?
Because it removes completely something that is indigenous to you. Because of course, Islam or
I
Christianity,
do know the religion is practiced in Ethiopia. It survived in Ethiopia, but not in Somalia. Like, why would I care about something that was thousands of that
because it
happened?
takes a little bit away from you.
But I just gave you an
that's what you
example, like
believe, eh?
ancient Greece, for example, just like in the ancient Middle East. In the Middle East, we used to have these ancient religions, like in Iran. that has a civilization going back thousands of years, but they no longer practice that system, is gone, which was Zoroastrianism, which was the religion of Iran, but it's no longer there. Today is a Muslim majority country. So
No,
Yeah,
he's
you keep saying the
disappointed
Greeks, the
because
Greeks.
he doesn't care about Irans or the Greeks. He cares
now I'm
about
using
black
those as
people.
examples.
And
I'm
he's
talking
saying,
about.
no. You must understand where he's coming from. He's coming from you are black. This is not your religion. This is other people's culture. This is other people. Blah blah blah. You should have to go back to your, you know. This is what he's saying. He doesn't care about Greeks. He doesn't care about Iran. He doesn't care
But
about
you're living
anything.
in the past. That's gone. It's
Yeah,
gone.
yeah, that's done, man. You said this man lives in 1990, but now he lives before 2000 years ago, man. What the hell is going on?
No, no,
People
I'm saying
change.
hold on. I'm saying hold on to a little bit of what you are. How is that a bad thing?
We Now we hold to what we are, and that is number one. Number one, our language. We don't change that. It- Can that also be positive thing? I mean, Dr. Anna, I can talk to our own language. We don't need English. Yeah.
So
Can
let me
that
ask
be
you, right?
also a
Yeah, like,
positive way? Yeah.
what do you think of Islam and Christianity that's practiced amongst your people?
I don't think a lot of it. I think they are foreign religions. They are religions of the Arabian coast. I don't object to people practicing it, but certainly it's not indigenous to my space. It's Shogo or Batala, Yemoja, or Shun. You know, those are the things that are indigenous. Those are the core backdrop. And we still have an Oni, by the way, who is the paramount, most important king within the Yoruba land, and he remains the custodian of the deities.
But wouldn't your people say that these are filthy pagan deities that you worship, just like with any other
Well, like I said, the most important king in our land is the custodian of the deities. So that answers that, doesn't it?
Yeah, but most would say to you he could be a demon or tell me this. Oh, I've heard of Obatala, but what's his origin like? These deities.
They it originated from Oduduwa.
So let me ask you. Yes, I read stuff about your people. They believe that Oduduwa came from Mecca. What do you have to say to that? There are some Yoruba people who are Muslim believe he came from either Egypt or Mecca, or
No,
he was Nimrod.
there are no Yoruba people that believe in that. The Yoruba people believe it came from the skies.
No, they believe that he came from Mecca.
I am
Yeah,
Yoruba. What's going on?
no,
I
I
am
read. I'm
Yoruba,
talking
and I'm
about. No,
telling you.
I'm asking you. I'm talking about there's theories of his origin, a fable.
All right. Well, I don't know about what you're theorizing too, but
No,
what
not me.
I am
This is why I
telling
read
you.
online. This is why I read online. There are groups who are having these theories that this is where it originated from. But my
Yeah,
question
yeah,
is, how do you
you
know
mean
if he?
Somali
Yeah,
groups are having theories on where Yoruba cultures come from?
no, I'm just asking you. Like, I really don't give a shit about your culture. I'm just saying to you,
Well, fair enough.
so
Then it's
I'm asking you, like, did he exist? This man? Do you have evidence he existed? Because with African history, a lot of it's oral, and you have to remember that.
well. There you are. There are documented as far as documentation. And by the way, a lot of your history is oral as well. I'm not quite sure even. I know you guys like to latch on to the Arabian narrative, but you're not Arabs.
No, but
Uh,
what I'm trying to say to you is, like, did he exist?
it did exist. There's a look. There's
I'll give you an example. Like, there's something in my culture. There's a thing called Qoris Maris that is half man, half werewolf. But I don't believe it exists. But there are people.
no. Well, we don't have that. It's not half man,
No,
half
no, no. I'm saying from
it's a
my
real
culture,
man. He was a king.
there's no like figures like this monster and that coming from our culture. But I don't believe that. I don't.
There's a bloodline that traces all the way to Oduduwa that sits on a particular throne and sits quite actually on a series of thrones. So the timeline of the pantheon of that narrative, it cascades through bloodlines right all the way to him.
So one man, do you
It's like
practice
you asking me
one man?
that do I have proof that God exists? That the
One
God
man,
that
one.
the Arabian God that you worship, you is like me asking you that you have proof
Don't be offensive, okay? There is nothing called
the
Arabian
Arabian
God. There
God.
is not, there is only Allah, man. There is nothing called Arabian God. Please be respectful. Let me ask you a question. Do you practice the Europa religion, or are you Christian or something else? One man.
Sorry, what was the question?
Do you practice the Europa religion? Do you have
No, I'm a Christian.
any Oh, you are
So
Christian.
it's a bit strange, isn't it? You're a Christian and
My
you're
gosh.
talking about Yoruba. Most Nigerian Christians would, from
Okay.
your tribe, would probably speak bad about it. Like, I'm a bit
No,
surprised.
they would not. You seem to
You
know
are
more about
Christian.
Nigeria than I do. You seem to
No,
know
I'm
more
just
about
saying because I've
Yoruba
come
than I
across
No,
your
no,
do.
no,
people.
no, no,
Listen,
no.
I've come across your
I,
people
I,
taking your
no, no,
nonsense.
no.
You know.
I wish if you just said I practice the European religion, then I will take your word for it. Now you just disappointed me, yeah, because you left your own indigenous.
Look,
Let me ask you
I
that
have
one.
I have broad belief systems. I don't narrow myself to just the singularity of anything. That there is only one this, and if you don't agree with me, I will behead you. So
So
that's not
I'm
my
asking you,
system.
why are you a
No, no, no,
Christian
no, no.
then?
One is
No,
gonna.
but let me speak. Let me speak. Why are you a Christian then if you're speaking good about these deities? Like, it makes no sense to me.
Because the deities are part of the backdrop of my history
I understand,
and my
but you
present
speak
experience
fond
too.
of it. You speak fond of it, right? But if you don't like Islam or Christianity, why don't you go back to this worship?
Yeah, because I can straddle both, is what I'm saying to you.
So you
This is
can.
what I'm saying. You see, it
You
goes
mix.
back
So
to what
understand
it
now.
goes back
So
to
you
what
mix.
this
So you mix.
conversation
So you
started
mix
with.
both.
You can walk and chew gum at the same time. You know, this is why I'm saying you guys
That's the
struggle to
problem with your
assimilate.
people. That's the problem with your people. They're not sincere.
What do you mean?
So I understand now. So you mix the old beliefs and the religion together. Is now a
No,
contradiction.
I don't mix anything. I have a healthy appreciation of the backdrop of my history. You know,
I'm not talking
and I
about
take
history.
great pride in it as
I'm
well.
talking about.
Yeah,
You're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm talking about
I understand fully well what you're saying.
mixing the religion of your.
You're trying to give me a binary choice, which I'm telling you that it's all in the nuance. That is really it. So yeah, you guys should be proud of your backdrop. Don't surrender yourself to the Arabian religion. You can believe in it, but still, have some pride and some
We have
hold
not
on to.
surrendered. We have not surrendered to anybody compared to other Africans. Like we've been a Muslim nation for over 1400 years.
Over 1400 years. It did even exist. So look at this guy. Do you know what 1400 years means?
Yes, I do.
You're
You
just
fool.
random. Anyway,
So let me ask you, how long have your people existed for?
since the beginning of time.
It's the beginning of time. So how
Yes,
far does your history go back?
since to the beginning of time.
It's only 2,000 years according to the Christian calendar.
Anyway, gentlemen, I have to bounce. I was half joking around with you, really. Don't take anything too personally. I have nothing against Somalians. Yeah, all my friends. So
No, no, you can,
I was just
dude.
trolling you. Huh?
My brother, criticize Somalis just the way you like, but please don't advocate genocide among Africans. You
So sorry,
cannot
repeat that.
trolling like this. You can criticize the Somalis, you can talk about shit about them, but please stop advocating Africans to kill each other and
No,
committing
I'm not
genocide
advocating
against
that.
them.
Or when did you ever hear me say
You
that?
were you were troll. You said I was trolling. I heard you another stream,
When?
That come on, man. We cannot
Do you know that
Uh,
90%? Hold on. Do you know that 90% of the things I say here, I say them tongue in cheek. I say them just to be contrarian, just to poke a reaction out of people. So don't take it too
I
seriously.
know.
It doesn't
Yeah,
really
I
go
know, I
past
know, I
that.
know, I know, I know, but we should have a red light, you know. We cannot troll like this. This is my opinion, my humble opinion. I will never tolerate something like this. You can talk about religion, race, whatever, but let the Africans live in peace, among themselves. Let us live in
Yeah,
peace.
Africans are welcome to live in peace if they are capable of. I don't think Africans are capable of living in peace. That's the thing.
Yeah, because people like you are putting venoms among them. That's why.
No, I'm not putting venom on. The venom was already there. That's just the way you're built. Anyway,
Just,
DG, it's been a real delight.
just
I'll speak to you later.
okay,
All
okay.
right, cheers,
Have a
man.
good night. Yeah, great. Good talking to you. Hey, where are you, Kaiso?